Let me open BluePrism. Object. We are creating Notepad object. We are working with a Notepad. Here, so what we have done in last class, we created this application modular. We created this application modular. When you created this application modular, it's created automatically by default main element. Main element. Notepad 7 is your main element. So we will use this main element to launch to terminate. For both the things we are going to use main element. Okay. If you want to work with any elements, if you want to create any other elements, or if you want to spy your object, must and should it has to be launched through your application modular. Observe that option, launch option is the right. It has to be launched through this option. Then only we can able to spy it. Okay. So now, so first we are trying to launch. See this, when you click on launch, it has been launched, right? It has been launched. Once it's launched through application modular, then we can able to spy, otherwise it is not possible. Okay. Now click OK. Now come to this. Each and every element is a separate action in your object studio. Remember this statement. Each and every element or each and every option is a separate action for you in Object Studio. We need to create an action here. See this is the action, right? Action 1. So rename this action 1. Rename. What we need to do? First we need to launch. First we need to launch. How many actions we need to perform here? First open is nothing but launch. After that you need to write something. After that you need to click on a file. Save. Path. Save. And then close. These many actions we need to perform in a notepad. Now come here. First is launch. To launch and terminate, what we discussed, we need to use navigate shape. Navigate shape. Just drag and drop and give the link. Once you given the link, just double click on the navigate shape. Observe this. What it is asking? Element and then action. Which element you are working? Launch, terminate, always use main element. Just hold your main element, drag and drop on your main element to your element. After that, observe this, what you need to perform. Launch. These are the actions. Launch. We need to perform launch. Click on launch and then click OK. That's it. Now again, if you want to test it, you can test. So let me close this, reset and test it. See this, it's running, it's launched. It means the application has been launched. Next, what we need to do, we need to type something here. So we need to spy this. Come here again, go to application modular. See this, under the main element we have a sub elements, right? Click on that element and give that element name. So we need to write and observe this identify button. Click on identify. Win32 by default will be Win32. If you want to change the mode, use Alt button. See this, the mode is changing. Region, Win32, accessibility, right? By default mode is your Win32. If you observe here, it says that control and left click to highlight item, right? Come here, see this, it's highlighted now. This one is highlighted and this one complete thing it is highlighting. Now use control. I'm using control button and left click. When I use control and left click, it is going to capture the properties of that attribute. Attribute properties. See this attribute and observe the properties here. See this, all other properties of that particular element. This white space we have captured. For that white space, we have n number of elements here. See this, all these are the attributes, all these we will call it as a attributes here. Now here, remember blindly, where you don't have value for any attribute, for checked attributes, where you don't have any value for checked attributes, this one is checked, right? These 5 is checked initially. See this, first one we don't have value for this. Where you don't have value for any checked attribute, we need to uncheck. Remember this blindly. This is for browser based application or Windows based application also same. Where you don't have value for any attribute, checked attributes, you need to uncheck. So if you don't check, if you leave it like that, so when you are running this, it will always search for the value for that attribute. Then if you don't have value, this will fail. That's why we need to uncheck where we don't have value. So no need to do anything, just observe the attribute series. That's it. Now if you want to test it, is it captured properly or not? Is it captured the properties or not? Just click on a highlight. See this? It's working, right? It means it has been captured. It captured everything, the name and then position, width, length, everything. So observe this here. So somewhere height will be there, and then so through position also it will be there. X and Y coordinates will be there. See this? X and Y coordinates will be there, and then the behavior, it is going to capture each and everything. So based on the properties, it is going to highlight when you are working. Okay. Now we created a write element, right? We created write element. For this element, we need to create an action. Again, apply. Okay. Now come to Object Studio. Again, right click, new. After that, what we are going to do, we need to write. We need to write. Click OK. If you want to write, which shape you have to use here? Write shape. If you want to enter the data, we need to use write shape. Give the link. Double click. Now observe this. It is write element, write, and then value. So what you need to write here? We need to give the value, and we'll write something. This is from data function. Okay. So given the value, any strings, if you are writing anything, so it should be wrapped in double quotes. Now click OK. What we have done, we created we pull that shape, write shape. We use that element, write element, because we need to write, and then we have given some information. Now if you click run this, if you want to run, so generally, so in a process studio, when you are in page 2 or page 4, if you want to run main, so page 1, it is not possible, right? If you want to run the specific page 1 or page 2 or page 3, it is not possible. But here you can be in any of your action, but you can able to run. See this, but it should be in a sequence. First it has been launched. After that you need to write. If you want to test it, write action, reset, run. Come to Notepad. See this? It's written. It's written here. Okay. So next, what we need to do? We need to click on a file. When you are clicking on a file, so this is mouse click and single click we are using, right? Okay. Now come to this application modular. We need to create an element for this. Add element, file, right? Click on file and identify. Come to this. Can you able to identify this file here? See this? No, right? Can't able to identify this file here. Then how to identify this? In Win32 mode, it's not possible. Check the other mode. Accessibility. Yes, now we can able to identify by using accessibility. Let it be, click on file, control, left click. It captures the properties of that particular element. File is a element here. See this? So many checked attributes here. In this, we need to uncheck wherever you don't have values. See this? Here we don't have value. Here we don't have value. and here we don't have value, and here we don't have value. Again order it. Okay, so now everything is fine. Now test it. If you want to test it, highlight. See this, it's working, right? It's working. We created an element, click on file. We need to create action for that, right? We need to create a action for that. Now come out, right click, new, click on file, click OK. What you need to perform? Mouse click. If you want to use mouse click, which option you have to use? You have to use navigate. Double click on this, click on file. See this, observe here, we have global mouse click and global mouse click center. Which option we have to use? Is it global mouse click or global mouse click center? Just observe the properties of the global mouse click and global mouse click center. When I am using global mouse click, what it is asking, so what it will take is x and y coordinates, and then it will consider this as a mouse button. Okay, so if I use global mouse click center, observe this, is it taking x and y coordinates? No, right? Suppose, assume that, so you have used global mouse click center, it will take x and y coordinates and then so button. So is that the x and y coordinates, is it will be the same for each and every machine? For example, you deployed in your machine, sorry, you developed in your machine and you are deploying into some other OS or some other machine. Is that x and y coordinates will be the same? No, right? It will vary, right? It depends on the application also. So always the best thing is always go for global mouse click center instead of global mouse click, because global mouse click it has to, so it will take x and y, but global mouse click center it will not take x and y. So that's why we have to use global mouse click center. It's a universal thing. If you are sure that your application will be same for any of your OS, any of your platform, then we can go for global mouse click. So now we are using global mouse click center. Click OK. Now test it. Reset and run this. Observe this. So what happened here? See this? It is throwing error. Unable to match any accessibility element when the supplied query terms. It is unable to match that. It means we are telling that you need to click on a file, but it says that unable to match. So the big reason is, see this, if I use mouse here on these elements, then the file is highlighting. If I come out, it's not highlighting, right? So that's why, so this is unable to identify. We came out from here, so it's unable to identify that. So when you are running that in Process Studio, you can able to see, so each and everything exactly it will run, but in Object Studio it will not run. I will tell you. So another example you can able to, it will be clear more. For example, when you click on file, then only we can able to click on a save, right? If I come out from this, is that file option is available? No. Then it's unable to identify this save. That's why it will throw that error. So don't worry about that. This is the application behavior. So when you are working within a Process Studio, it will work properly. So now, so we created a element, that is fine. So we have tested it. Now what we need to do, next element will be click on a save. We need to click on save option. For that, come here, again come to the application modular, add element, save, right? Save, and again identify, come here, see this, we need to click on a file, then only the save will come. This one also, Win32 is not working, change the mode. See this, save, we can able to save here, right? We can able to spy this save. Again control and left click, Now observe this. Now again we need to uncheck wherever you don't have values. Again if you test it here, it is not going to work. So that came out from the, that is not highlighting. See this highlight, unable to match window with the query terms, right? It means that save is not available here, unable to spy that. That's the meaning of this. So because if I come out, the save will be gone, right? So that's why it's unable to identify. When you are running in a sequence one by one, you can able to understand this. Now we created an element. We need to create a action for that. This is for save. Click OK. Save also, here we are using mouse click. Which option we are using? Mouse click. Again use navigate, double click, save. Again we need to use global mouse click, center. Click OK. Right? Okay, so again if you run this, it will not work. Okay. Next element is, what is next element? After click on save, you need to give the path here. You need to mention the path. So create a element for path, add element, path, and identify. Come to this one, right? This is the path. See this, it's, we can able to spy this in Win32 mode. Yes, we'll go for Win32. Control left click. Now see this, all are checked one. Highlight, it's working fine, and apply. Okay, come to this object, right click, rename. What you need to do, we need to give path. Click OK. Now what you need to perform, you need to write the path, right? Use write, double click, use element path, and then here we need to give the path of the file where you need to save. Go to Windows D. Let me take any path. So if you use shift and then right click, you will get an option called copy as path. Copy as path. See this, copy as path. Now use that and change the name. So this is our notepad, right? Notepad 7.txt. In this path it has to save that particular file. That's the meaning of this. Okay, so now so if you want to test it, reset and then run, it will work here. See this, it entered the path. After that what we need to do, again we have a save button, right? We need to click on a save. Come to this, again we need to create a element for that. Final save, this is save button, right? Previous one is mouse save, so this one is save button. Identify, come here, see this is a button, this is cancel also button. These are the buttons, these not options, right? So if you observe this in notepad, so this file, edit and format, those are the options, mouse options. If you use your mouse, then it will highlight, but here this is a button. Control left click, use match. See this, all are highlighted. If you want to test, highlight, it's working fine, and then create a apply. Okay, element has been created. Now we need to create a action for that. Path, new, this is save button. Click OK. Now button save, so we need to click again, so you have to use navigate, double click, save button, element name. Observe this, if it is a button, then we can go for blindly press option. We are clicking on that, right? Button, we are clicking on that, that is nothing but a press option here. Click OK. And if you want to test it, reset and run. See this, if you come to here, see this notepad save underscore 7 has been saved. After that, what we need to do, we need to terminate all the actions what you have so decided. So all these things is created. After that, we need to terminate. Terminate, we will use navigate, and then we are going to use main element. No need to create separate element for the terminate and launch. When you created application modular, automatically it will create a element. Use navigate again, double click, use your main element, come here, terminate. See this, terminate, click OK. And if you want to run, test it, run it, it will close this notepad. Yeah, see this notepad has been closed. So here, if you observe, we created each and every action is a separate, each and every option is a separate action, right? Launch, write, click on file, save, path, button, terminate. So here, so maybe you'll get a question like, so why we need to create each and every option as a separate action? So why can't we create all the actions in single action, all the options in single? It means we are launching here. After that, I will use write. After write, I can use click on a file. After clicking on a file, so again I will use, so click on a save button. Again after clicking on a save, again I will use a path, right? So like this, why we can't able to implement in a single action? We can do that. We can do that. There is no restriction. But the what is our main intention of creating a business object? For reusable purpose. For reusable purpose, we can able to use n number of times in a process studio. Okay, for example, assume that if you create like this, if they are using this name in the process studio, everything will execute one by one, and then it will give you the result. It will open your notepad, it will write something whatever you have given, and then it is going to click on a file, it is going to click on a save. After that, it is going to give the path. After that, it will save button, and then it will terminate. Okay, so now assume that your requirement will be, you need to open notepad, you will type, and after that typing, you are going to change your font. After font, you are going to click on a file. After that, you need to click on a save. Generally we click on a save, so but you need to do click on a save as. You don't want to use the same actions, right? Same options, you are using different options. Then if you have separate action for that option, then only we can able to use. If everything you have created in one place, it is not possible, right? Some persons, they will launch, and then they don't want to write something, so they want to open some other file, click on a file and then open, they will do that. Then how to do that, right? That's why must and should remember each and every option in your application is a separate actions. That's why we are creating the separate actions now. So we created all the actions here, right? How to use this in a process studio? Remember, if you want to use any action in your process studio, actions has to be published. Action has to be published. Then only we can able to use that actions in a process studio. And one more thing, remember, not every action is mandatory to publish in a object studio. Maybe you will create some actions for future purpose. No need to publish those things. You can create actions, and then whatever the actions you require to use, those actions only you can able to publish. Not each and every action, it's not mandatory to publish each and every action. The actions which you required, only those actions you can able to publish. Okay, now here we need everything. If you want to publish this, observe this how to publish. Right click on the action, click on publish. Observe, this is the symbol for published. See this, for all these things we don't have this symbol, it means those are not published. Right click, publish. All the actions we need to publish, the actions which you are going to use that in your process studio. Published, all the actions are published. Now save this one, save changes, saved. Right, now it has been saved now properly. Now we need to use these objects and action in your process studio. What is the object name here? See this, notepad 7 is your object name, business object name. And what is the actions you have available? Launch, right click, save, path, save button, terminate. These are the actions it's available. Okay, so now let me close this. Now we created object and actions. Now we need to use that in process studio. Come to process, right click, create a process, notepad process underscore 7. Now double click. If you observe this, whatever the actions you created in your object studio, those actions we can able to use by using action shape in your process studio or object studio. See this, action shape. Use your action shape, double click. First is launch, right? We need to launch. Observe the business object name under our folder. See this, notepad 7. This is your business object name. Observe this, it says that business object name is notepad 7. And then action, what all the actions it's available in that. See this, just we need to click on the action, no need to do all these things, no need to spy every time, and then no need to use that. Once it is created, once it is spied, once it's created as a actions, you can use that for n number of times and n number of processes. Launch. Now click OK. Now it is launching. After that, what we need to do after launch, we need to click on a file, right? Click on file, use business object name, notepad, click on, sorry, write something, right? We need to write. After launching, we need to write. After write, we need to click on a file, double click, click on a file, use object name, and then click on file. After clicking on a file again, so we need to click on a save, right? Click on a save, use this, then save. After the save, we are going to give the path, double click, path, and then business object name, and then we need to give path. After the path, what we need to perform, so we need to click on a save button, right? Save button, we have, use this, save button, click OK. After the save button, so it has been saved. After that, we need to terminate, double click, terminate, and use notepad, use terminate. How many actions we have totally? 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Terminate. Did you use all the 7 here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Now we'll give the link. Start to launch, launch to write, write to click on a file. After that, click on a save, and then so path. After the path, we need to save button. After that, we need to terminate, and then we need to close it, reset. Now each and every action we created, right? Now, so these things like this, you can able to use n number of times once you created it in a object. Now come to this. So already the file is available, right? Let me delete this one. Delete it. Okay. Now come to this. We will try to run this. Reset, and now we are going to run. Observe this. Sorry, I moved it. That's why it is not picking. Reset, run. It's pointing somewhere else. Observe this. What happened? Each and every option, so it has been implemented here, and then it's created as a file name. So this double click, the notepad file has been created. Notepad has been created, right? Now if you close and if you run it again, you can run this n number of times, and you can use this n number of times. It is going to create the actions n number of times. See this? Again it will tell that that file is available. See this? Because the file is already available, that's why it is saying that do you want to replace it. So you don't want to replace it, otherwise it is after that next action is terminating, right? So we created each and everything. Okay, same way, so you need to perform some other actions. You need to click on a file, you need to change your font, you need to click on a file, so you need to click on a save as, you need to open some other actions. Then if you want to perform those things, then must and should you need a action in your object studio. That's why if you want to automate any application, how many options we have in that application, each and every option we need to create as a separate action. Then we can say that that application has been completely automated. Now if you observe this, see this, in a file how many options we have. All these options we need to create an action. In a edit, how many options we have. All these we need to create an action. The same way for all these options. Then we can say that it has been automated completely. So like this we are going to create actions, and then those actions you can able to use that in a process studio. And one more thing here, we need to remember always, once you create any application, so once you created any bot, now what you can able to see here, this is a bot, this is your bot. Once you create a bot, must and should you need to test this bot in all your debug speeds. You have an option called debug speeds. You need to test it in all your speeds. So then only we can say that that application has been completely automated. Otherwise we can't able to say that it has been completely automated. So if you observe this here, when you are running, see this, you have fast, normal and slow, right? We need to test it in all your debugging speeds for testing purpose. So maybe, so assume that why we need to do that. Okay, so you create an application in your machine, it is working fine. Okay, so assume that your machine performance is good, your system performance is good, it is working fine. So your application, it's, so yours is high configuration, is working fine. Okay, but the same thing if you deploy it to some other machines, the configuration is very low, the system performance is very slow, then it may not work. That's why, so we need to test in each and every debug speeds. If it is working in normal, it will work in slow 100%. Most of the time it will work in a slow mode. Okay, so now we are in slow. Now we will run this, reset and run. Observe, it's running very slow, right? But it's working, right? Okay, same thing, we need to test it in speed also. If it is working in all your three debug speeds, then we can say that it's the application will work in any of your system, any of your platform. So now observe this, move it to the fast. Now we are trying to run it in a fast. Now try to run this. What happened? Observe the error, read the error, and if you want you can note down also. Sometimes in interview also they will ask, can you tell me the errors you are going to get very frequently when you are working with your actions, when you are creating actions, when you are implementing actions. See this, unable to match any window with the query terms. This is the most common error you are going to get. Unable to match any window with query terms. What it means by that? Before that, read the above one. Failure to perform step 1 in write stage, write 2 on page path. On page path, write 2, unable to perform, right? Okay, so let me click on this. Now close it, close it. See this, where it has been failed on path. It's saying that it's a path, right? And view that action. If you want to see that what is happening in the backend for this particular path, right click. You can use that in a view action in Object Studio. Then it will open Object Studio things. See this? This is the path. This is running. See this? Write to. Here it's unable to identify the element. See this? It says that I am unable to identify path element. Why? Why it is happening like this? If you observe this, okay. When it is running in very fast mode, sometimes it will hit this launch. Before launching, it is hitting the write. Before writing something, it will hit file. It means when it is trying to write something on that particular thing, that write option is not available. It means the application itself, it is not launched. Then where it has to write, right? That's why this error will come. Unable to match with any supplied query terms. It means the element is itself, it is not available. How to write, right? So if you reset again, if you run it in a fast mode, see this, it's saying that again it is coming up to here, and then here it is saying that some machines, so you will get a error in the launch itself. Okay, if you try this, you will get a error in launch itself. Okay, so see this, where it came up to, see this path. When it is trying to give a path, before, when you click on a save, it is opening the path window. Before opening the path window, it is trying to give the path. So that's why it says that unable to match the query window. See this, how to rectify this, how to overcome this. For this, we have an option called wait option. Wait, we have option called wait. It means we need to wait some time. After clicking on that particular thing or particular path, it has to wait. So this wait we can able to implement in 3 ways: static and user defined, and dynamic. Static wait, always it will be 5 seconds. Always it will wait for 5 seconds, static wait. And user defined wait, if you change this 5 seconds to 20 seconds or 30 seconds, then it will wait for 20 seconds or 30 seconds. This is user defined wait. Dynamic wait, based on your application behavior. Based on your application behavior, it will take time. It is not any, you don't have any specific times. Based on your application behavior, so it will take time. Dynamically it will change the timings. Okay, so these are the 3 wait options we can able to perform. So when if we want to use wait, static, dynamic and user defined wait. Remember, static wait always it will be 5 seconds. User defined wait will be 20 seconds. 20 or 30 or 40, whatever it may be. Other than 5 seconds, if you change that, then we will call it as a user defined wait. And then so dynamic wait. So it will be based on the application behavior, it will take the time. Okay. So we'll see that next class how to work with a wait option. How to work with a wait option and where to use wait and where it is mandatory to use a wait option. So now here, okay. So what are the things we discussed today? So we created application by using main element. After that, we created each and every elements. We given the name, and then we clicked on a identify button. When you click on identify button, so it will highlight here the application. That application we are going to use control and left click to to get the properties of that attributes. In these attributes, what we need to do, we need to uncheck where you don't have values. This is for browser based, this is for Windows based, both are same. And after that, so we need to highlight to test whether it is working fine or not. Once you created an element, go here to the object studio and you need to create a action like this, one by one. Create element and create action. You can do all the elements, all the elements you can create at a time. All the elements you can create at a time, and then you can use that in object studio also. But so far, so 2 to 3 applications when you are implementing, so create a element, create a action, otherwise you will get confused. First create a element, after that create a action. Okay, so try this one. Okay, so first try to implement this Notepad application, the same thing how we have done. So tomorrow I will give some assignments to you. So for the same Windows application, how to implement that. Everywhere it will be the same. It can be a Windows application, it can be a browser based application. What you are going to do will be the same approach. There is no change at all. Only the application names will change and your properties will change based on the behavior, but the approach is same. First you need to create a application modular by using this, and after that you need to create a elements. For that elements you need to create a action. After that you need to publish. You need to use that in your process studio. These are the same steps. Okay. So once you created all the elements, what we need to do, we need to use publish. Each and every element we have to publish. If you published, then only you can able to use that elements in your use that actions in your process studio. If it is not published, you can't able to use that. And one more thing you need to remember, not every action need to be published. It's not mandatory to so publish each and every action. Okay. After that, so once you published, then we can able to create a process in your process. How to call that actions? By using action shape. By using action shape, we can able to call the option. When you are using action shape, we have to use business object name. What is the business object name which you created? Notepad. Notepad is your business object name. See this business object name. So if you close it, and then if you go to see this under main 7, Notepad 7, this is a business object, right? That is a business object name, and then in that business object name you will have actions. See this, how many actions you have already created. Those many actions will be there, list of actions. You need to pick any specific action. Okay, so once you created the process, you need to test it. When you are testing that, must and should remember, you need to spy it. You need to test it in all your debugging speeds, fast, normal and slow. If it is working in normal mode, so most of the time it will work in a say slow mode, but it may not work in your fast mode. You have to must and should you have to test it. So if it is so running in all your debugging speeds, then we can say that that application has been completely automated. See this? Now this one, it's failed in a first step itself. What it says is unable to match any window with the query term. Why? See this, before launching your notepad, it is trying to write here. See this? If you observe, immediately it's hit this and immediately it went this. See this, observe one more time. See this? Immediately, so within fraction of seconds, so before launching, it went to the right. It is trying to perform the right options. So that's why, so this error you will get. So this error we are going to overcome by using a wait option. So that's why must and should we need to test your application in your all your debugging speeds. So if you run it in normal mode, it will work every time. So if you run it in normal mode, so now this is going to work. So but what about the fast? See this, it will work now, right? It is working. So but when you are running in a fast, it is not working. So we need to cross check. So is it running in your all your debug speed or not? That is mandatory once you create a application. So this thing, so we will call it as a bot or process. Whatever the process, we have automated your notepad. We have automated your notepad. We are using that, right? We are automating your notepad. So like this we will see going forward, so how to work with some other applications. I will give some assignments also for you, so to practice. First try to implement this notepad in your machine. Okay, so once it is done, so if you have any doubts, so we'll discuss again tomorrow. So it has, this is the very important thing what you are going to do in your organizations. Also the same thing you have to perform. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so if I want to launch two notepads with different names at the same time, so how can it? Two notepads with the different names. Okay, so when you are launching, so it is not going to give any names for your notepad, right? When you are saving only, you have to give your different names for the notepad. You can do that. You can able to create two processes for that. Here we created only one process, right? I will create another process with another name, and then I will give the same other name for that. We can able to do that. Two, if you use the same thing in another process, same thing, then if you are running both the things parallelly, then it will open both the things. That can be done. So that is parallel processing and scheduling will come. In that concept, you can able to understand clearly. We can able to do that. So any other questions?